Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. Megan Fox, a national journalist.
Mastodon. I will never be able to say that out loud.
It feels like the Flintstones live there.
It does.
Well, don't trust women. I think you just touched on that with your last. That's what they brought. We're going to have to bring back chaperones.
Jesus, no.
Just careful. Stop! Right! Ooh. Hard right.
How did you screw up a stove, Megan? You're a woman. I thought that was baked into you, like at the genetic level, how to operate kitchen equipment.
And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I've been very nice to you.
You get Dino hanging out outside chewing on a large bone. I highly recommend being targeted by the New York Times and Rolling Stone for weight loss. And I'd say, keep it coming. I need to lose 20 more. Please, keep it coming.
Explain to me, Megan, why did this country not have a holiday once a year? That's the time you vote. If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. You don't get another chance. You don't get, I don't care if you're in the hospital. Crawl to the stake, crawl there. But that's it, 1 day, 12 hours, and then you're done. And you count them that day, and that night you know who the hell won.
I will eat you alive. You want to tangle? You want to go?
The only thing going through my head is, what are you going to do when Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother?
He made a deal with the devil. She's the devil.
He wants that.
Oh, God.
Gross! Oh! All right, penalty box for Slug. Yep.
Of a mile.
Are you ready to behave yourself now, Slug?
This frustrating rep.
Are you ready to behave yourself? Repossessed puppies? I'm hiding pork chop! ASAP! Have you seen his little pork chop? Oh my god, pork chop is the cutest.
That sounds bad.
Have you seen it?
Pork. It's pork.
Though you may be tempted, do not contact any person or persons mentioned on this stream. Do not even think about contacting anyone who may be the topic of the daily news. If you should do that, the host will question your IQ, possibly call you names, and mock you for disobeying these basic rules of decency.
All the best.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to fix that volume on Brad's voice. Holy crow, was that loud? Did everyone?
It wasn't really loud for me.
It
didn't
wasn't
seem loud. No, not for me. I didn't think so.
Maybe it's just me. All right. Well, if it was
I didn't
just
think so.
me,
Ask the chat. I mean, get the chat's
Brad,
opinion
did
on it.
Brad blow your ears out just then?
I
Because
thought it was about the same as everything else. And then
what are you
it sounded
saying?
fine.
What did you say? I'm deaf. I'm what? Okay, the chat says no, it wasn't bad. Okay, so it just
been
must
your
be my
volume,
earphones.
like I said.
Yeah,
it sounded better than it. You know, it had a low volume before, so I actually thought it sounded about right with everything else.
All right, well, that's the next new version of my of my new intro. What do you think? I think it's a lot of fun.
The sound was very. Oh shit! I'm playing a video game while I'm talking. Just a note, but it sounded a lot cleaner. A lot.
Okay, awesome. I worked. Yeah, we worked on that. So, okay, good. I will make sure.
Yeah, we had a delay today because
we did. Yeah, we did. We had a delay.
Yeah,
I had a couple of different things happen.
Yeah, computer problems. Wink, wink. Right. not source. Wait. I mean, yeah, computer problems. That's what we're going with.
Well, I actually did have computer problems, but that was earlier in the day. What happened at the end of the day? There's so much news happening right now, and the receipts are flowing in that I had to scrap something that I was doing and do something else, and because there's just crazy bombshell stuff coming in. So I did. I had to last minute. I was rendering this video and adding new stuff. And believe me, you're going to see things tonight you've never seen before. We are going to play my Bombshell Part 1 interview with the new Northport source. Now, I want to explain to you all, this person wants to be anonymous, does not want her name used. And so I have fed it. I have made a transcription of our conversation and fed it into AI. You're going to hear the interview in Gwyneth Paltrow's voice. I thought that
cool.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
It's me, but it's AI voice. But basically, you can take it as a transcription. So there will be a couple of words that are a little bit off. You'll see. But this is the only thing that's been changed in it.
I don't feel like I can say anything about little words a little off. I think.
Yeah, it's got some tugisms. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
The only thing that has changed is a few things to protect this person's identity. So I changed a few things to do that. And other than that, and for clarification if something got cut off, but other than that, it is a part 1 of a very long interview that I did with the new Northport source. I am on the wrong side of the stream. Let me fix that. All right. Thank you, chat.
Look at the screen.
Look at Megan, move over. You're
That's
on the
hilarious.
wrong side. So yeah, this is going to be amazing. And then we have all this new breaking stuff that was just happening before we came on. There's new donor complaints.
Oh, that's good stuff.
And
yes,
my goodness.
That also, so there's no, I'm not seeing a screenshot of this, but there was talk again. I would like to see some clarification on this just to make sure, because I haven't seen timestamps or anything. But there were people saying that the memorial had been postponed. Now, I don't know.
I've heard a lot of chatter about that. Nobody has given me
I need to see some
verification,
some discussion on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there was a lot of money raised for that. So
yeah, I think at least they were going to spend something like $2,000 on it. Now, listen, like I said before, I'm fine. It's fine to have a memorial for someone, but I thought that whole story was made up because Jeremy never said he wanted it taken down. He said it could stay there forever. So if some ribbons and whatever got blown off or taken off or whatever, I'm sure you could have just asked him if you could put a couple ribbons back up or whatever it was for the person who had a tragic accident on that roadway. It's just, did it need to have a fundraiser done through Lisa's bank account?
Indeed. Oh, and that's been, so that's interesting too. Actually, one of the statements about the donor thing and the IRS and all that actually has some interesting We'll talk about that in a second too.
That is interesting.
Let me pause where I'm at here so I can pull this up. I will return to my video game when the other stuff comes back up.
Well, don't let us disturb you or anything.
Yeah, we're not having a live stream in front of thousands of people or nothing.
Speaking of thousands of people, there's 3,037 of you here on YouTube. How many of you are on Rumble? A bunch of you are on Rumble. 1,000 of you are on Rumble right now because they're expecting that we are going to do a Rumble exclusive. And you will see that the Rumble link is pinned to the top of the chat. And it is also, for those of you on the replay, hello, replay crew, you will see the link in the description. So just click on that link for when the stream ends on YouTube, because what we are going to do is we're going to hit the Northport source part 1 interview first. Then we are going to, on YouTube, we are going to go over the donor scandal that's breaking right now, leading into why people should be skeptical of these people raising money. And that's going to be part 2 of my investigation into the Rapuzzi Weeks family and Lisa Rapuzzi's evictions. We're going to go over those. We have that for Rumble. So we have a very full plate tonight. If you like receipts, and I know that you do, and we always bring them to you. We bring you hard evidence. We don't sit around and talk about stuff that we don't tell you things unless we show them to you as well, right? We're not going to sit around and speculate. If you like that, you appreciate the show, make sure you hit that like, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're on YouTube or Rumble, make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe. And also, breadstick money is appreciated. I'm traveling this weekend, going to Utah to see Jeff. Any Cash Apps or Venmos that come in will help me on that trip. I'm going to say goodbye to Jeff with some friends. And not really looking forward to that, although I am. And it's a strange thing, but that's going to happen at the end of the week. And any super chats that you want to send tonight, of course, they will be highlighted, which will help me see your comments and read them, and everyone will get read. And believe me, please, folks, if you don't have it, don't send it. Do not send me your ramen money, only your Starbucks money, if you can afford it.
I sent somebody a joke. I got laughing at this. Sorry, but I was making clap jokes the other night, and somebody was like, "Yeah, enjoy the show, but I don't really like all these STD jokes." And I wrote them back. I was like, "Well, you're really not gonna reel. I'm not gonna reel like this one." Oh my God. I don't know. It just hit me as funny when I was writing it out. You're gonna really not like this one.
Oh no, that's so funny. Those of you in the chat wondering what the Cash App and Venmo is, it is scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. It is Cash App, not that Megan Fox, or Venmo, Megan Fox or Megan-Fox -89. But it's running across the bottom of the screen, so anytime you want to look up and find it, it's right there for you. All right. And I do have a couple of Venmos and Cash Apps to catch up on from yesterday, because after the stream, a bunch of you sent me some when the stream was over, and I do appreciate that. It was a little tough for me yesterday. I closed the stream weeping, which
like a ding,
sucks.
Ding, ding on the,
do I hear a ding?
Yeah. Do you hear that at all?
No.
I've been hearing it with Streamyard. There's something has changed. There's some kind of audio warner that's been coming up on me lately. I can hear ding ding, so I'm wondering what the hell that is.
Sometimes my Apple Watch makes that noise. I wonder if it's but it's not. Did you hear it just now?
Yeah, I heard it twice actually.
I didn't hear the ding, but I did have a vibration happen.
No, I heard a ding ding, but it's not a sound that I know. Like, it's not a warning that I have, or an update.
And have you been hitting the devil's lettuce this evening?
Well, these new cigars really are wacky. Where they come from? Colombia? No.
Maybe it's your video game. I don't know what to tell you.
No,
all right.
The video game's way far away. I set it down just so I could go over the wonderful stuff that's been happening.
It's been crazy, but we have to really get into it right now, because if we don't, we are going to be behind. So here's, ladies and gentlemen, this is, and I want to give you an announcement before we play this. This is an eyewitness who was in Northport during the time that Lynette Preston and John Cook lived there. And this is her story to tell. And she told this story, and there are receipts, and I didn't even have enough time, folks, to post all the receipts in this video, because I was literally making it up until 8:15 p.m. tonight. So that's why, I was having some trouble getting on here on time. So we may stop it a few times as we go, but here it is.
Had to be friends with her in order to
Hold on, I got to back it up a little bit. All right, here we go. How did you get the screenshots you sent to me?
So, it's all public. It's on Facebook. That's where I got it from. I had to be friends with her in order to see it.
And they were still there when you grabbed them?
Yes, that's where I got them from. I went on because we're friends on her Facebook. And I went in and went back all the way to as much as I could to get them. It was, I think, in 2016 or 2017, her husband was running Elaine Ambridge. Her husband was running for commissioner, and I worked on that campaign, and I met Michelle, or Ruby. She goes by Ruby.
Wait a minute. She told you her name was Ruby?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if you've seen some of the screenshots. She says, "Hi, it's Ruby." I don't know where she came up with that name. But sometimes John would refer to her and say, "Hey, Ruby," or whatever. But that's how we got introduced. And then I guess she started, about her grandchildren being taken away. And I said, okay, well, I need to.
All right, hold on. I forgot that went by really fast. Okay, so these are, some of you have seen some of these, but maybe not all. Here is December 17th, 2017.
Does this have any of the Ruby screenshots on there? I saw
I have one, but I couldn't find it. So no, I'm going to fix this later and put up all the ones that I have. But
I was just wondering because I after we had discussed that, I was like, wait a minute, I did see one of the. It just didn't register on me.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one, but I just couldn't find it in time, but it's there. Right. And I'm going to fix this later and add some of the things I couldn't add in.
Yeah,
but
I just wanted to note that because there is indeed backing for that too, Exactly.
LP was posting on the Family Forward project in December 17th of 2017, where she told, where she told people that she failed her house, the house visit for CPS. And she said, because the doctor said, I'm sorry, but I'm not giving you another one. The one I gave you prior was perfectly fine. Nothing to hold us back, but oh, they did. Make them take the polygraph tests. And my advice to any grandparents who keeps getting stalled on their home studies, and they say you didn't pass, or it's not back yet, or they're waiting for background check, call the agency who does them, which is the FBI. They run fingerprints, and they will tell you exactly when it was approved or denied and what's going on with it. It's your information, so they have to give it to you. Also, when you go into the agencies, have it done, ask them who they send all their info to and where does the application go. These are the people who you call and ask, is it in yet? And they will tell you the truth. Do not take this. Your stuff isn't back yet, because it's more than likely not true. If you have no legal things in your background, no crimes, no convictions, it should go out and come right back. She had a problem passing a home study at some point, and then it looks like she was able to, because then she got the children placed with her. So, but by February of 2018, she was saying, I have lost my 5 beautiful grandbabies because the school called CPS after my grandchildren reported abuse in all manners. And my daughter says, we turned them in. I took a polygraph at the price of $300 to prove I didn't, and they don't care. I want transparency in reporting. I have lived through the loss of 4 other grandchildren. I just don't know how I can do this again. My heart is so broken for them and me. Okay. Here we go.
About her grandchildren being taken away. And I said, okay, well, I need to know details.
And there's a screenshot in here where she was blaming her daughter. See, I don't want my daughter in trouble, but I couldn't stop the call that was made to DCS. I didn't know it was coming, but my grandchildren had their own minds to do what they needed. I found out later and was called into it. I said what was true, and that was it, just as in 2 years ago when the kids did it. My grandchild was saying that if he didn't get counseling, he was going to harm himself. He's 12. I told him that counseling was free at school. I did not think the school would turn them in. I just thought they would help him. But when the other kids got questioned and said some of the same stuff, it turned into a case, I guess. And my daughter thinks I made the call 2 years ago when the case started before. And my sister stepped in and lied about me and said I shouldn't get my grandkids.
Why would you think the school would contact proper authorities, by the way?
I don't know.
I'm
mandated reporters. I know. I mean, and she's had a child taken away before in Iowa, so I don't know why. I don't know why she would think that. I don't know. But again, you have to be careful believing anything that she's saying. Yes. Again, and that a warning. Just because she's saying it doesn't make it true.
Right.
And this source, by the way, is reporting things she was told by Lynette. So again, same thing. We still don't know what's true. We're just trying to put together a puzzle piece of what she's told, what she's posted, and where is the information we can find. Now, I have some more information about these particular grandchildren who are the children of her daughter, Michelle. One of them is an adult and has had conversations, and I've seen some of them. And the interesting thing is that there doesn't appear to be the same story from the children that Lynette tells. They say nothing about John. Let's just put it that way. So I don't know what the story is that they told. I don't know what it is that they reported, but I don't think it's what Lynette says. So I don't know. It's hard. And if any of those, by the way, one of the children, of course, is an adult. And if that child, that adult now would like to reach out to me and tell me what happened. Confidentially, absolutely. I would like to be able to put the puzzle together and understand what's real here, what's true, and what's really sad is that the children were adopted out, and according to the testimony of the children, they were adopted into a family that also treated them very badly.
Oh,
and so,
awful, man, that happens way too often. I hate hearing that.
I know. It's a really sad story, you guys. And as much as a couple of people have been criticizing me, right, for not being a good journalist anymore, because I used to cover really important cases and now I'm covering celebrity cases. And I just want to say that this is exactly the type of case that I made my life's work about.
Who gets
exactly.
to decide? We only get limited time in our lives. Who gets to decide how to spend my most finite resource besides me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I want to cover something, if I want to make a 67 video archive of watching paint dry in my house, I can do that, you know? And
well,
now,
yeah.
Number 64. Ooh, look at this color. This is an off yellow. Don't you like that?
I mean, it's true. It's like when and especially, I think I've told you guys this before, when you spend your time covering cases that have this type of thing in it, this dark child mistreatment, it's very difficult. I have the same type of PTSD that police officers do.
Yeah, actually, it's secondary trauma. It is trauma. It's not as recognized. That's one of the reasons I stopped doing child crisis support as far as a therapist, you know, because it messes you up. And again, that doesn't take anything away from the people you're covering. I mean,
and here we are. I try to take a break, right? I try to go do more false accusations, celebrity trials, something like that. I can just take a break, right? And get out of the darkness. And yet here we are again. And what we thought was going to be this funny neighbor case, right? This funny bad neighbor case turns out to be something really dark. And I do want to warn you guys that in this conversation, there is going to be things that you might consider trigger warnings that you might not want to hear about. And it's okay to, look away for a while and come back. Okay. But it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it together. Here we go.
Where to help or figure out how to even go about it. And she said, well, her daughter, I guess, either her daughter or school, somehow somebody found out. So there were accusations that John molested little girls. And somehow there was accusations that John molested them. So the school contacted CPS or whatever they call it, and they started investigating. And one of the kids said that Lynette knew about it and then didn't do anything, I guess. She didn't report it or whatever. So that's how it all started. So the kids were removed. That's her own story, what she told me.
Did she ever write that down? Is it in writing or this was said to you in person?
You? In person. We were talking, communicating at the poll, at the election site. She was just telling me, how it all started. She goes, like I said, I didn't know the details on the kids she had or which daughter, or honestly, I didn't care at that time. It was just somebody, I met, introduced, and Elaine said, maybe you could help her get some information. I have a background in private investigation and other professional experience that could help. And she knew that. So I told her that she probably needs some sort of a lawyer to defend her or just wait for the outcome. I know quite a few criminal attorneys that could help if, that comes along. But anyway, she tells me that John was accused. Some of the kids said that the girls were molested. And her daughter, it's all her daughter. She blamed her daughter as the one who told the kids to say that, and now they were investigating. and the kids were taken away. So she was very scared. She didn't know what to do. And I guess she was on the hook because she knew and didn't report it and all that stuff. So that was it. And then she was so happy and said she proved that her daughter was lying and she's a drug addict and she did it on purpose. But then she goes, I just decided not to fight it. So I just told her to keep the kids.
What? Now, does that make any sense to you? You proved it. You proved that it was a false accusation, but you decided not to fight it. Just let the kids go.
Yeah, you just let the false accusation roll. That kind of false accusation. Holy.
And again, please remember, she made this same false accusation, or I don't know if it's false or not. We still don't know whether it's false or true. We don't know. She made the same accusation to Shara in the text message we just saw. In Shara's, in fact, Tug, do you have that text message available handy?
Give me a minute. Let me pause my
because sorry, can you pause your video game for a moment?
I know I'm being very professional.
Professional.
It's better than me yodeling right when we started.
That's true. The yodeling. Did anyone watch the yodeling?
I don't know if they caught that. Yeah, that was a funny thing. I was trying to set it up while I was trying to set it up so when Megan came into the studio, there would be yodeling playing, but she got
But I got here too fast and he didn't have it set up yet. Yes, yeah. Those of you asking.
About the newest statement that we just saw?
Yeah, the newest one that we just saw, the one that nobody wants to talk about.
There's that other, there's two of them essentially, because there was one on the new video and then there was one on the other video.
Oh, I don't know.
Because you got that.
Either one.
Remember, there's the on the new video of she saying, "Well, okay, there's a straight up accusation, and then there's I'm going to do this one first, and then I'll pull the other one." Okay, so off the new video, remember she said that about making her leave and stuff, and then said that John, he's just as dangerous, he's just as abusive, he's an alcoholic. I believe he would do something bad to my daughter. So, there was that too. That is an accusation. That's a pretty horrible, heinous accusation, in fact. And
then there was the other one that said which is very similar to this accusation, right? So that this source is saying that Lynette knew that this alleged assault or whatever happened and she didn't report it. Well, in the text to Shara, she said she didn't want to report it because she knew the baby would be taken away from her. Mm-hmm. But she said some really gross things about, and again, we don't know if she's telling the truth. I suspect maybe not. I don't know.
This is what it said. Again, I'll just go.
Yeah.
My version of fast. Okay?
Yes, you do it. You read this.
You have to realize, too, that John likes me isolated. He thinks I'm going to let him spend time with the baby alone, and I'm not, because the baby said something to me. And after she said what she did, I'll never leave him alone with her again. Not to mention the fact that one of the allegations that was made, the CPS, was that he molested her. Well, that allegation was made because I told, again, that would be T. Granger, that I don't like it when he's short, when his shorts hike all the way up and his balls, I guess I'll just say it.
It's got to say ball. Yeah, balls.
Yeah, his balls show all the way, the baby up right there. And when I tell him to knock it off, he tells me to shut the F up. He can do whatever the hell he wants, or I tell him, don't let the baby play with your chest hair. Don't go under the covers with the baby. Don't kiss her on the mouth. And he tells me to shut up. He's not one of my effing sex offender husbands, but I'm telling you, why would my daughter say what she said? I can't prove it, so I can't turn it in. I'm not turning it in because I don't want to lose my daughter, but I'll keep him away from her the rest of my life. And again, excuse some of the reading there. Remember, there is no punctuation in any of what I just read.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is almost the exact same story, but with a different child. So the first time in Northport was with the grandchildren, where she told someone the same
That was
story
it.
about John,
Again.
and that she didn't want to tell because they would be taken away. Yeah. So here it's happened again. It's happened before she met Jeremy Hales. And by the way, that last screenshot we just saw, Bruce confirmed that that is real.
Yes.
Because
yes,
he
this
wrote
is
the
a-
letter to Shara, and he told her that she was sharing private messages. He never said it wasn't real, it's photoshopped. He confirmed. Her lawyer confirmed that it's a real
Yes, that if
screenshot.
somebody missed that for some reason, we can just pull that up real fast too. I have that right here. Just give me 1 minute. Takes like 4,000 button pushes to get there.
So here it is.
But
Your
yeah.
doxing of old private messages that was sent last week on January 7th. The messages between you and Michelle from a year ago and longer, which are shown in your YouTube video, were confidential and sent in reliance on her trust in you. He does not say here that they were photoshopped.
Yes, he's
So-
admitting that they were sent. So
They were
he's
sent
just
and they were
complaining
real.
because
Yep.
they're supposedly confidential. That kind of
All
stuff, by the way, you are under no obligation for confidentiality with that anyway. But those type of allegations, no, not at all. You expect somebody to keep their mouth shut about what you're alleging happening to a child there? Anyway.
By the way, Marissa wants you guys to know that I'm an unattractive, grifting skank, and she can't believe that people give me their hard-earned money, and I'm nothing less than disgusting, which is awesome. Guys, this is how pissed they get when you send tips to this show because you enjoy receipts and hearing the truth and getting to the bottom of a puzzle. This is how pissed they are. You're an unattractive grifting skank. I may have to put that in my my bio. Unattractive grifting skank. It doesn't quite have the poetry though that demonic pizza with toppings from hell has. So I try again, Marissa. And if you want to see people like Marissa writhe around on the ground and scream and cry and beg for mercy, send more breadsticks. You can see that they get very angry when you support actual journalism.
I can't believe you would interview witnesses and show court documents and show proof. By the way, since you back these people, apparently, what was their name again? Marissa, how exactly are you sitting there? You just saw the message from LP about JC. You have confirmation from Bruce that it's a real message. It's not fake. So what they were telling you out there, that's bullshit. So how exactly do you sit there and just cheerlead it on? What you're doing is you're cheerleading potential abuse of a child. Either you are listening to a liar or there are some major concern. Either way, it's a major concern. But how exactly do you get that through your head?
How many people need to come forward about this and say I had major concerns about this child? So far, we've heard from Connie Bruni, who said they were terrified about what happened. The very first thing she asked me was, "Do they still have that child?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody was worried. All of them were worried. Now we have another person who came forward to say, not only was I worried, wait till you hear what the rest of it is. Wait till you hear the rest of it. If you can, after tonight, if you are still saying, do you believe these liars? There's something you're complicit in it. You're complicit in it. What you're going to hear tonight, if it doesn't convince you that there are red flags that might as well be lit on fire like the state of California right now in this case. I am a person. Let me tell you something about who I am. I have been a person who has criticized CPS, DFS, and child welfare for years. I have fought on behalf of parents who've had children removed from them for ridiculous reasons, with no evidence, with violations of due process and constitutional rights. I have done that for years. Believe me, you will not find anyone more critical of CPS than me. And one of the reasons why I criticize them is because when a child actually needs their help, they do nothing while they take children from good parents who have done nothing. And that's what we're looking at right here. So when you hear me advocating for the state to do something, you know it's got to be bad. It's got to be bad. Indeed. And I mean, this is silly. And it's funny. I always think it's funny when they think it's going to get to me. When they say things like I'm unattractive. I can prove my attractiveness. I've been married for 23 years. I have 3 beautiful children. My beauty did its work. It did its job. You know what? Beauty is for one reason only: to procreate, have children, get yourself a man. Once you do that and you keep them, you're good. I'm good. I don't need other people to think I'm attractive. It's silly. It's so silly. I would, though, like this neck of mine to stop doing this turkey thing that it's doing as I get older. My God.
I tried to return mine. I was like, Jesus, what's going on?
Yeah. Where can I bring this back? Yeah, I am looking at all the...
Return to sender. How does this work?
Return to sender. Oh, God.
I didn't go into details back then because I didn't care that time. Right. And so she said that her sister or whoever took the kids, and she just got tired and done helping them. She tried all her life, and she had her grandkids and babies, and they don't appreciate, so she just gave up, and here have the kids, let her sister take care of it. That was it. Then I guess in 2000, there were local events because she would come out and volunteer with Elaine. Elaine would reach out to me and ask if I could help. Do you think your firm can help? Or can we get together and help somehow? Like get a person into housing or get money, whatever. And so she was involved. And plus, Elaine, she's with Gowanus. Gowanus have their own closet for kids where moms can come and like weekly and grab a few outfits for kids. And so she was volunteering there as well and helping. So Lynette was very locally involved. And then again, she told me that her relative, a friend's daughter, I thought it was her sister's daughter, of course, because the way she grew up, it was her pretty much niece that was staying with her. And she said she was pregnant and her boyfriend beat her up. She had to run away from him. She got like black eyes and stuff. She's got to apply for order of protection and all that. And she was pregnant. So she's staying at their house and I was like, how far along? And she was always, they would need like help. She wouldn't help like, for baby and stuff like that. Or I was like, okay, well, how far along? And she goes, well, it's like, she's probably like 2-3 months only, but she has to get away. I have to get her away from her abusive boyfriend. So, but now when I was going through some posts and stuff, I thought that was the baby Grace's mama, right? I didn't know that it was a totally different person. So I was on the impression that the lady that she's talking about, her niece or whatever, who got beat up, is the child biological mother. That's what I thought. But maybe now it's a different one. But anyway, then she...
Okay, so that's a bombshell. We did not know that there was a different girl, pregnant girl. But, and again, we still don't know if there was one because we don't know if the stories that Lynette tells are true. Yeah. So all we know is that this is the story she told to this source. And so she told her that this girl was underage, pregnant, and then she was going to take her into her house and care for her. Now we know that that's not the mother of HG because she was not underage, first of all, and she didn't come to Lynette until she was much further along. So whatever story that she's telling, it's either a different girl that happened right before she took in HG's mom. So she was maybe on the hunt for another baby, for a baby, like looking for someone's baby to take. And yeah, so, and then HG appears. So it gets really weird.
She goes in and find out, oh, actually she was far along and her mom doesn't want anything to do with her. And I'm the only help she has. And now, like, I don't know what to do with the baby because we find out that she's a drug addict. She's been stealing my pills. I was like, Lynette, if she's a drug addict, you find out that she's a pillhead. Why are you leaving your medication out in the open? And she said, I never knew that she's going to actually take it because it's my prescription medication. It's a painkillers. And I guess it was a Percocet or Oxys, I don't know, something like pain medication. And I said, if she's a drug addict and you knew it, why did you leave it out there so she can take it? She didn't really have an answer. She said she called the cops on her and reported that she's stealing her medication. And they had to. She had to be Baker acted, and she's pregnant, or she's hurting this baby. And so she had to do what she had to do to save the baby. And because she mentioned multiple times that she doesn't need that baby, and we made an offer to take care of it. So the girl agreed, and she goes, I will take care of the baby when she has it. So she'll stay at my house while she's pregnant, but I need to make sure the baby is safe and the mother is not doing drugs. So she told me she actually put her in a mental hospital quite a few times. And I told her, hey, listen, if you're going to be taking care of the baby, make sure you have all the reports, police reports, hospital, whatever. So you have your records straight when it comes to that time. And again, I didn't know about all this at that time when I was talking to her. So I kind of feel that I assist her, me and Elaine both. But it was just, we're talking, communicating. So it was just an opinion how to go about. It wasn't like providing legal advice or anything, right? And just to let her know, hey, get your record straight, so when it comes, it's easier for you. Then she called me. She's like, hey, I want to talk to you. Can we meet up? I was like, sure. So we met up. And she goes, well, I guess she tried to overdose on pills again. And I called the cops. They have to take her to a hospital again. And yes, she's going to have a baby and had baby there. I was like, oh, okay, good. At least making sure that baby's taken care of and stuff. She goes, yeah, but I don't know how to go about it because, that she's going to take a child and run, or she's going to use that child, like by her way of, getting drugs and whatever. Something is going to happen to the baby.
The more I listen to this, and it's been 3 times now, maybe 4 times, now I'm thinking she spun a yarn. This is the baby's mom that she told these people about, but she told a bunch of different stories about her. Because what happens from here on out is what we know about what happened with HG's mom in the hospital. So it's like, if there was some other girl before, well, then she's melded these 2 stories together. And if there wasn't a different girl, then she just told people things that weren't true, right? She's my niece. She's my, they weren't related. Yeah. Okay.
What a bizarre story, man.
I know. It gets worse.
She goes, how can I take care of the baby while she's getting clean? Because I want her to get clean. And I said, well, I don't know. Maybe she can get a temporary power of attorney so you can take care of the baby and go to the doctors if needed while she gets clean. And just, that was it. She goes, okay, so I'll see. And I guess she didn't have a baby. Then she got discharged home and I didn't see her for some time. Then she told me, oh yeah, she signed the POA. So now I'm her and unborn baby's legal guardian, kind of, but their POA, power of attorney, not legal guardian, power of attorney. And I was like, okay, good. So, kind of, that was it. And then I find out that she calls again saying that she is now in a hospital. She had a baby. However, she was kicked out. She called me because she was kicked out of the hospital when she had a baby. I was like, why? And she goes, well, because, she had a baby and we're talking. And I told them that, hey, I have a POA and I will be taking the baby home and take care of it. And, while she gets clean, because I believe she had the baby in the mental hospital, if I'm not mistaken, that's what she said, because she says she had to be Baker acted again. And she ended up having a baby. Or so she said, I was there. I was present. I cut the umbilical cord. Oh my God. It was such a miracle experience.
Okay, that was one of those AI things where it made it sound like she was saying I did. What she said was, she said, I was there. I did this. It was. That's the way that the source talks, is like to repeat what Lynette said. So don't get confused. She's still talking about Lynette.
And she survived all this overdose and drugs. And, it's a grace from God. That's why she called her We call her Baby Grace because she's been calling her Grace, Grace from God, and she survived and all that. And well, so she says. But the hospital kicked me out, and they told me if I come back, they're going to trespass me. Why? Well, apparently, I guess they didn't like the way I talked to the mom. I think her name is Tanya. Anyway, she said the hospital felt suspicious, and they felt that I'm pushing her to give up her baby. And they talked to her alone without me. And they came back and told me that a mother says she doesn't want me in the room. She doesn't want to talk to me. She wants me away from a baby and from her. And apparently she decided to keep the child. And now the hospital can't accept that power of attorney because since a mother changed her mind and she had that right, it wasn't like actual adoption in progress or surrogate mother. So as soon as a mother announced to them that she wanted to keep the baby, she...
Yep, I got to cut the cord and everything. I did it all, held her first, kissed on her cheek, everything. I've been with her every minute of her life, except for a few hours kicked out of the hospital by the birth mom and a nurse. Yeah, that was fun. P.S. I didn't do anything wrong and nurse got in trouble. So this is confirmation from LP that she did get kicked out of the hospital.
So
and
the
now
story matches up with the...
it matches up with what the witness is saying. And I tried to pull as many screenshots as I could in the limited time I had to corroborate this testimony. And believe me, there's more. So I will be going back and working on that video, which I will then release in its full, with all the other screenshots, because there's a lot more.
And her wishes, like who is not to come to her room, are respected. So they have to grant the wishes. They said if she will be persistent, they will have to call the cops and get her kicked out, basically. And I was like, well, if that's the case, I mean, I don't know what you can do. She goes, well, I have a POA. How do I get the baby? Because it was supposed to be my baby.
Whoa. I was very worried about this when I saw these screenshots. Before I talked to this source, I saw screenshots, which I did not release. I did not show anyone. Because I've had them for a very long time, actually.
Yeah, you want to confirm everything. That's been the work on a lot of stuff. Like when stuff comes up, like just because it's come up does not mean it's real. And we try to make sure that we can authenticate, drive it to a place or drive it to a person.
That's why I always like to speak to people, and I'm always trying to get interviews with witnesses, because when you're dealing with screenshots, especially, you want to be able to authenticate them, which is why the very first question I asked her is, where did you get these? Right. All the screenshots that I have came from this source, and there are over 2,700 of them.
Wow.
So you can imagine
that many.
Yeah. So you can imagine that. How can you not? You've seen the drive. Have you not? Remember, I was like, how am I organizing all of this?
I didn't realize there were that many, Yeah, there's an ocean of them. But when you put it into terms of, over 2,000, almost 3,000.
Well, I don't know if you missed this earlier, but the source has a background in private investigation.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
so
that makes sense. I mean,
the information collecting is epic.
There's also, I don't know, you just get this feeling on certain things. Like maybe I should keep a record of this.
Right.
Maybe that's happening too with some people.
The source is very smart and has a lot of experience. And her story, it lines up with Connie's. It lines up with some of what you'll see Elaine saying in some of the screenshots that I have. I don't, one of the things I want to caution those of you out there, if you get your hands on screenshots somehow, be very careful, because not everything maybe should be public.
Not just that, like a screenshot out of context. What does it mean? Like, here's the problem. People assign meaning to everything they see. And you as a person, if you've just ran across like a screenshot dump and you don't know what these things are for, maybe spend a little more time on that, because I saw some screenshots. And again, this is not directed at anybody. I appreciate the heck out of everybody out there, but I saw some screenshots that were dumped, and people were trying to figure out context. And I was like, you're getting it wrong. Like, this has been something that's been in the works for a hot minute, trying to figure out all the context. This stuff has been available for weeks now, but getting everything together behind the scenes, that's why when people call this easy content, oh no, there's a lot of time that goes into this.
No, it is not easy. It has taken me it's been weeks now to put it together. I had to organize it. I said 16 days.
Since I got those screenshots.
And I mean, look, I held on to them for a reason, because I had to first digest them myself and then try to put it together and then reach out to people to try to corroborate. And that's what I do. I don't go forward with just screenshots. It depends. It depends on what's in them. But I knew there was a bigger story here, and I knew there would be people who would see it, who would know, who were there, who would talk. And I worked on the source for a while to talk to me. So, and believe me, folks, this part is just part 1. There's probably going to be a 2, 3, maybe 4, because of how long the interview was. Yeah. And I'm happy to have this. I'm so happy when people come forward. And by the way, if you do want to come forward and talk to me, I will protect your identity. I have, I do protect identities of people who are witnesses to things and whistleblowers, etc. You can email me at meganfox.writer@protonmail.com. If you can corroborate what happened in Northport, if you are someone who saw what happened, if you are someone who had a concern about what you saw with this child, please do contact me, because we're trying to put together some evidence to support, what you thought. And, we don't want to see we don't want to see a child get harmed. And that's, I think, the crux of this story. I think that's what made Jeremy Hales so passionate about it. And maybe some people misread his passion for, I don't know, bravado or wanting internet clicks. And really, when you look at this real story, when you look at what's really here, which one of you wouldn't have a major concern about hearing this story? And it gets worse, folks. So hang in there.
We agreed on it. And I said, I don't know, talk to lawyers, get an attorney involved if you need to, because that's a legal dispute, your POA, whatever, how you guys agree on, I don't know. And she goes, oh, well, maybe I need to get her back to my house. I'm going to, and that's what she said she's going to do. That will work. She will come back home with her, actually, because she has nowhere to go. Her family is in New Jersey, and she tried to call her mom, who's her best friend or family member. And I'm going to talk to her and see if she can talk to her.
I'm going to get her to come back to my house, because I can't work with these hospital people. They won't let me near her. But she's got nowhere to go. She has no money. She needs a roof over her head. And once I get her in my house, you hear how this is going, Tug?
Oh, yeah, indeed. I muted out for a second. I was making I was trying to get AI to make me a picture of a cult that worships mac and cheese.
I mean, this is so crazy, though. This is so crazy to get her. Well, she realized she was, this is smart. This is really smart. She realized she wasn't getting anywhere with these hospital people, right? They were going to respect mom's wishes. But she knew that eventually they would release her from the hospital. Yeah, the hospital saw the red flags too. Thank you, used to be younger. The hospital saw the concerns too. And they were trying to protect the baby from Lynette and trying to protect mom from Lynette. But Lynette figured, well, I'll wait it out. They'll release her, and she has nowhere else to go. That's what she told this source. And once she has her on that property, once she has her in her house, she's the one in control. And I guess we'll hear what happened to her when she got there.
Maybe coming back to my house. And while she gets clean, I will take care of that baby. And, so it's easier because the COVID started, all that stuff. And she goes, and then as soon as she's discharged, I'm going to get her in a rehab and I will take care of the baby. And then, we'll move forward with the full adoption because she says she doesn't want that baby. And grandmother doesn't want anything to do with the baby. And so then what happened is that would be about March.
Of course, it didn't sound like she wanted nothing to do with the baby. It sounded like she wanted the baby, which is why the hospital said, you have to leave.
Stepped in, yeah. And see, I don't understand the whole, and they got in trouble for that. Why? You have the ability to have someone kicked out of a hospital room. If it's my room, I can kick anybody out I want.
Does she have any evidence that they got into trouble for that?
Yep, indeed. Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all.
No, it doesn't.
Was it March? April, I think it was because it was election. I don't remember. It was 2018. I mean, I have to go back and look. I'm sure I can find a date. But it was also an election. And she showed up with a baby, and I was there about 9 a.m. or so, and she said, oh my God, I've been here since like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm so tired. And the baby is cranky. I was like, oh, I see you have a baby. She goes, oh, yeah. So I convinced Grandma. Grandma convinced the biological mother when she got discharged from the hospital to go to my house. Because she couldn't fly in, she had no money and stuff.
This is a post of LP saying, isn't she perfect? Can anyone and everyone please share our story and give my PayPal link? We desperately need help to pay the $1,500 to finish the home study with the Bond of Love, which was the adoption company. CPS is now involved. Remember that. And I have to protect her. Please share and tell everyone you know. Jamie, if you told our story, I know your followers would help us get this adoption finished. So she's never going to go into foster care. That's Jamie Starr Johnson, by the way. This was when Lynette was trying to get Jamie Starr Johnson on her side because Jamie had a big following on Facebook. So Lynette cozied up to Jamie and wanted to use Jamie's followers. Does that sound familiar to you, Todd?
Does indeed.
She wanted Jamie to post this.
I think I remember hearing a story just like that. Where did I? Again,
this is before she met Jeremy, but she's looking for people with big platforms that she can just put her PayPal link on. And she says that CPS is involved. Remember that for later in this testimony.
So she came back because also she had her stuff there. And then we got an argument because she was clean after the hospital, And then she stole my pills again. So I had to call the cops and kick her out. But cops wanted me to keep the baby because she was so messed up on drugs that they couldn't even get the baby away from her. And since I had a POA, they left the baby with me. And
wait a minute. Did the police wrestle this baby away from this mother? I mean, this is horrifying stuff. I mean, I want to talk to this mother.
Yeah, ultimately, I think there's some answers right there. I would at least, and even for anyone saying anything about that, well, we've already heard the other side of that. It's been splashed all over the internet, this person's name and this story about them. So, yeah.
Now I guess I don't know where Mom is. I think she went back to Jersey and she's going to get clean there. And I'm going to be moving forward with adoption, taking her parental rights away and stuff like that. I was like, how are you going to do that? Or she goes, well, I don't know. And that's when because Elaine was there too. And that's how the emergency order came in place. We were talking okay, well, if she's still using drugs and, and she's like, oh, my baby is so sick. I said, how do you know? She goes, well, she was born, she had jaundice. So they have to keep her in the hospital for a little bit, 3 days extra under the lamp. Jaundice is totally normal, and I told her that. And she said, well, no, it's a genetic. It has to do with drugs because he had drugs in her system. And now they're saying she has some sort of disorder that could be life-threatening. I was like, what kind? Well, they said it's some sort of metabolism. Oh gosh, what's the word? Metabolic disorder. That's what she says.
All right, this is one of the posts that she put up. Looks can be so deceiving. She's beautiful. She looks so healthy. Yet, she's a very sick little girl. GA1 or glutearic acidemia is no joke, and I'm having to make heart-wrenching decisions that no new mommy wants to ever make. Harley will be getting a GI tube put in, and I'm waiting 1 month so I can have 1 month of normal baby baths and just loving her up and feeding her right to make her strong, and then we will get it put in for her so it can be used for medicines or her formula if needed. God told me I was getting her and that she would be all right. I love her with all my heart. She's a beautiful baby. HG, John, love her so much. Her mom loves her. She has a village. We do need help. There's going to be so many things we need right now. I need little glass Dr. Brown bottles. I also need a bottle warmer for her new formula. I need the big whiteboard and a dry erase markers. I need notebooks and for journaling and writing down everything that's going to be so many doctor's appointments, so much to do. Anyone wanting to donate, please look for a post. It's got my PayPal on it. And the other one takes far too long to get the money to us. And they take too much from it, but I'll repost my PayPal. And on my page, Harley is worth every bit of this heartache because she brings so complete joy to us, but I don't think I've ever worried about another human being so much in my entire life. Okay.
I was like, oh, okay.
She was claiming at first neonatal jaundice. Is that what she was saying?
Yes.
Okay.
John,
yeah,
she had to sit under a light. That my kids had
common.
it.
Yeah,
it's
that's
totally
common.
It's totally normal. Almost
it's
everybody has
the
jaundice.
immaturity of the liver. That's what.
And you know what they normally tell you? You know what I said? They wanted to put my baby under that light. And I said, nah, I'll put him in a sunbeam. He'll be all right. Because that's what you do. You put him in sunlight, right? And it's exactly, I put him in his skin pinked up in just the next couple of days. You know, he went from looking a little yellowish to looking nice and pink. You just put him in a sunbeam. You know, I didn't want to stick him under that lamp. He had already been in the NICU for a hole in his lung. He cried so hard, he blew a hole in his lung. Hangry did. So
man, it's already terrifying. And I know we deal with the oldest when she was born. She did not breathe at first, and boy, you could tell. I mean, the panic, you could tell.
I hate that panic. They did the same thing to me with the hole in the lung. He had a collapsed lung, and oh my God, that is the worst feeling in the world when they grab your baby from your chest and they start doing what they do and talking and ignoring you.
I was ignored. So, you know, it was very complicated. There were complications. So it ended up being a C-section birth, and there was no hold or anything. Like, they took the baby and they were freaked out. I mean, they powered the baby right out. Parent wise, we didn't even see the baby. Like, that was terrifying.
Terrifying.
So, yeah. So
I know, I've been there.
You don't want them in the. When I saw my oldest, you know, she had IVs in her hands and all kind. I was just like, oh my God, that was her first. Hey, welcome to the world. Here's an IV.
That sucks. That's how Hangry was too. Same thing. He spent 3 days in the NICU. It was funny when the specialist came in to talk to me about it. I was so traumatized. No one was telling me anything, and I didn't know how on earth he had a collapsed lung. You know, and the specialist was so great. He goes, well, you've got a really big, strong boy there. I said, really? Well, why does he have a hole in his lung? He goes, he's so strong that he blew a hole in his own lung. But because he cried really hard because a nurse hurt him, and I watched her do it, and she got in trouble. I think she got transferred to the morgue where she can't hurt anybody anymore. But yeah, no,
it
was
messed up when they transferred you to the morgue.
You know you did. Well, I made sure they did that because, you know, don't tangle with me. You don't want to tangle with me. I'll make sure you work in the morgue for the rest of your nursing career. But no, he was. It heals itself. Did you know that about a hole in the lung when they're that little? They say they just have to keep him real still and real quiet, and it will heal itself. And they didn't have to do anything but keep him under observation. So, but it's terrifying. It's just absolutely terrifying.
Terrifying too. Anything that comes up, they're like, oh my gosh. And then, terminology that's used a lot of times, it's not common. So you're like, oh my God, what does that mean?
Right. No, it's a very scary situation.
You like my mac and cheese? God, by the way.
Let's pull that. Wait, whoops.
Wait,
stop it.
Look at him. Isn't he beautiful?
That is so bizarre. Is that like a mac and cheese statue?
Yeah, here, let me pull it up.
Like a Buddha?
He looks like a Buddha.
Yeah, it does. It's
Gouda.
like
His name is
Gouda. His name is Gouda.
Worship at the shrine of Gouda. There he is. Check him out. He's so cool.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like dude
so
gone
weird.
wrong.
You bring your
Look at his little legs. They're made out of mac and cheese.
You have to bring your offerings to the feet of Buddha.
While we are doing this, I am totally not creating a mac and cheese cult.
All right, go back to your AI.
What kind is it? Because my youngest son, he was born with a metabolic disorder. And what is it called? And she told me. I was like, oh, okay. So basically it's identical to the one my son has. I said, what it is.
What are the chances that this woman that she's telling this to has a son with the same disorder that she's trying to say her kid has? It's pretty rare. It's rare.
Is the stat on there 1 in 100,000?
I don't know, but it's pretty rare. I mean, it's not something that everybody has. I pulled up this, look up GA1. I pulled up this, so this is a screenshot. It said, basic results have shown that baby possibly has glutaric acidemia. It is a very rare disorder, like 1 in 100,000 children will have it.
Yeah, it says 1 in 100,000.
So what are the chances that she runs into the other 1 in 100,000 parent of a kid like this?
You got to remember those numbers are global too. So, there's communities that make those numbers more common. So you think it's actually more rarefied than that, because like in an Amish community, for example, they can hit up 1 in 300 apparently. So I mean, you have them hitting the stats and making it even more common. So it may be well over, 1 in 100,000. It may be way out there
Frankly, it's miraculous that the source had medical knowledge about this. It's miraculous. And frankly, I think that this is smoking gun miraculous. Like, this could be the thing to finally do it. Like, to finally get authorities to pay attention. Her testimony, it gets crazier. So she says 1 in 100 children will have it. It's a disorder that the better we care for her, the better she'll be. So special diet visits to the doctor. We never let her be around children who are sick or flu symptoms or anything like that. We just be vigilant to protect her, and she should be happy and fine. If we lack in our care of her, then that will reflect in her brain, because this is a disorder that will make toxins in her brain. It will cause brain damage. So we have to be extra vigilant to take care of her. From this day forward, I'm her shadow, I'm her strength, and I'm her everyday protector and her mommy. So now the source is going to describe she was telling her that this disorder does.
It's pretty much her body cannot contain any protein. And, she has to be on a special diet. Usually, those kind of people are vegetarians. Because I had to go through the whole process with the diet and everything else with my family who was one. But basically, yes, it's not treated right away. And you give her too much protein, it builds up in her body. Especially if they're not able to walk, she could die while asleep, because it goes in her brain. And so you need to make sure you're watching the diet. But with my son, he basically got immune to it because he's a carrier of that gene. He needs to know when he had his children, but it's a genetic. She goes, oh, okay. Well, they scared me because I was like, yeah, I just thought And I said, yeah, I mean, it is a serious condition, but it's not life-threatening. It is in the first 4 months of their life because they don't move much. Babies don't move much. And if you give them too much milk or something that contains protein, it goes up in their body. But after that, my son is a 16-year-old, and he eats meat, he eats a whole bunch of protein, and so he's fine. And I said, in the meantime, if you need all those doctors, just make sure they do all the proper blood work to see if she's a carrier of that gene or if she's an actual, anyway, if she's really, she really had that life-threatening condition right now. And she goes, oh, okay. I tried, and I went, and doctors would not even talk to me. And I asked, why not? She said, well, because I'm nobody. I only have a POA and that's it. And they want, I guess, a mother of the child to come. And I said, well, talk to the mother and see if, she can do some sort of a documentation for you or sign. And she goes, no, I don't know what it is. And she doesn't care about the baby and so on. And that's where me and Elaine said, have you tried to get an order for temporary custody since you already have a baby here? That would be the logical way to go by. I'm talking DCF. But she's like, oh, no, I don't want to call DCF. I don't want her in the system. You don't understand, they're evil and that investigation against John and all those grandkids. I don't want DCF to get involved, and plus they would have to take her away first. And then I would not get her back until I actually have an order. I need something like now, so I'll have her. So that's when Elaine said, hey, go ahead and get all the documentation together. Proof that, mom ran away, all those cop calls, that she's a drug addict and all that. And file for the emergency order for temporary guardianship, so you can take her to those appointments. And then she started, of course, drifting off of it, saying, oh, I need this, and I don't have this, and I don't have this. And, of course, the whole community were helping. And again, Elaine, she's a very kind individual. She doesn't care if mother is a drug addict or somebody is a horrible human being when it comes to helping innocent children, Oh, and between that, the divorce with John, right? Because when her grandkids were taken away, she goes, oh my God, I can't, if it's true, I don't want to be associated with him because then they will say that I'm his wife and I knew about and I didn't do anything. I will go to jail, will get locked up. I need to file for divorce, a SAP. I need to get away.
This is a post she made June 22nd of 2021. Very sad. Our relationship is ending. The house is getting put on the market, and the baby and I are buying a motorhome. My heart is absolutely broken. We need prayers and support from our friends and family.
Away from him. If he did this, I can't believe it. Like that kind of stuff. Well, again, I thought the mother of this baby was the niece. But I thought when she said it's her niece that she's a minor. She wasn't 17 and she's pregnant and she ran away. Her boyfriend beat her up, So when I found out that she was a minor, that's why I asked, how old was the biological mother at the time when she had a baby? And because she was saying that John was trying to hit on her, and she felt that there was some kind of connection. But I was always under impression, up until just recently, I started pulling the screenshots and all that stuff. I realized it could be two different people. But up to that day, I always thought that it was one individual, one girl that she was talking about, the underage young girl. So, and especially her complaining that John, giving too much attention to that girl and all that stuff and conflict fighting and kicking it out with both of them and all that stuff. But anyway, so she went in and applied for the emergency order, right? So she can actually see the child. What got me is when during election, baby was in a playpen and she was small. She was, I don't know, maybe 4 months, 6 months.
All right, hold on. Lori wants to know, Megan and Tug, with all respect, and I doubt she has much, whose business is it of yours, Tug's, or anyone's? Whose business is child abuse? Is that really what you're asking, Lori? You're asking whose business is it that children are abused and neglected? And are you really asking that question? Because it's our business. It is our business. It is the government's business. It's society's business. How can you even ask that question? Why do you want to put your head in the sand when this is happening? to a child. There are multiple people in multiple cities who are concerned about this child. There were people in Iowa so concerned about Ashley. School counselors, DCF workers, psychologists said that it was some of the worst abuse they'd seen and had to take her away from Lynette. You want another child to be subjected to that? Do you? It is my business. Humanity is my business, Lori.
Also, what would be the purpose for LP making all these statements about John, for example? One of the things that we've not mentioned. Okay, well, we're treating it like it's real then, or at least something that should be looked at, because shouldn't people that are supposedly backing there, shouldn't they look at it as potentially a cry for help? I mean, wouldn't that be the point in doing it all? Again, doesn't it merit something within? It's not being brought up like just at one time and then dismissed. Again, this stuff is being brought up to people like Shara behind the scenes. Every single time police arrive, there are allegations of this person being harmful and abusive. So,
and if this child was stolen from her parents, which is what it sounds like, stolen from her mother. We have both Lynette's testimony that mom wanted her out of the hospital, and now an eyewitness who Lynette told wanted her out of the hospital. And she has a lot more evidence about it. She heard a lot more about that and was even giving her advice on what to file, thinking that this woman was on drugs. But what if that wasn't true? What if what Lynette says isn't true? The biological aunts have said mom did not want to give up the baby. So there's multiple people corroborating that story, that this child may have been literally stolen from her family. Whose business is it? Law enforcement, for one.
Actually,
and everybody's business.
Didn't her lawyer write a letter saying that this was something that should be talked about because of all the things that he said about the litigation and about a quote unquote narrative and all of this other stuff? There was an open letter. He was talking to everybody out there. So now he represents her, doesn't he? Isn't that her speaking?
Mm-hmm.
And no, she said she was able to lift her head and kind of, roll around a little bit, and she looks perfectly fine. And she said, oh my God, the doctor can figure out if she actually has a disorder or she doesn't have the disorder. They said it takes time, throughout the years, but the way she acts, the way she behaves, she said, I know for a fact it's a life-threatening because I can see it. And she was giving her Benadryl to make her sleep because
This is a new allegation we are about to hear. I will back up after we hear it to see the screenshots. I just want you to hear it in the totality.
Said, I know for a fact it's a life-threatening because I can see it. And she was giving her Benadryl to make her sleep because she was fussy. And she said, I need to take her home and feed and give her some Benadryl so she can actually be calm throughout the whole day.
As a baby?
Yes, a 6-month-old baby.
Benadryl? Why Benadryl? She goes, well, not much, but just to keep her calm and so she can actually be quiet and not yell and scream so much. And I told her, you don't give kids Benadryl for this kind of purpose, like you're pretty much drugging her. She goes, oh, no. Doctor told me it's perfectly fine when she's cranky or she behaves, just calm because of it. And that's when I said, listen, let me see the paperwork, show me the people, specifically doctors, because either I don't know which doctors you've seen because they're full of shit. I'm sorry for my language, because if it's a metabolic disorder, which you told me it is, she told me it's a propionic, she said propionic acidemia, and something else. Anyway, if that's the case, you need to go to different doctors because it sounds like your doctor doesn't know anything about what they're talking about. They're telling you to give her a different type of medication. And she told me, oh, I'm going to give her this and this. I don't remember the exact name. The names. But she said, yeah, they told me it is okay to give it to her and it's not going to harm her, but I just have to watch her diet and give her like specific food.
Okay, let's back up a minute. Let's go back to the Benadryl because that's shocking. Shocking. And I just want to point out that there are screenshots, and there are more of them. I couldn't get them all together. Okay, there's the one from Shara that says she was giving her melatonin in the feeding tube, and that the baby reacted in a fearful way when she was threatened with getting melatonin in the feeding tube. And Shara overheard that on the phone. Now we have a witness who says she told her she was giving her Benadryl to sleep, which of course no doctor would ever tell you to do that.
No.
That is abuse. That is drugging. That is not okay. No doctor told her that. We know for a fact that is a lie. Here's a screenshot on November 16th of 2022. I'm so proud of my Princess HG. She is back to taking her superpowers, levocarnitine by mouth, no tube. She even tried to lick the anti-seizure medicine to see if she could take it as well, but it doesn't taste that great. She's giving a lot of different medications to this child. I don't know what levocarnitine is. Boy, I can't even say that. That is a difficult one to say. But this is a situation that needs a full investigation. And when I say full investigation, I mean they need to remove this child to a hospital, keep Lynette away for a period of time while they just figure out if this child actually has any of these disorders or needs any of these medications or even needs the feeding tube. And by the way, I am the last person on earth who will tell you that I think Munchausen syndrome by proxy is a real serious big thing. I believe it's just child abuse, period. I don't think it's not a psychological disorder. It is just child abuse. So I don't like the name and I don't like making it, but it is medical abuse. I have very rarely seen an actual case of this. This could be it. And this certainly requires actual investigation to find out if this child actually has this thing. Because this is not the first person. This is not the first person who has said, we don't think that she's sick. We don't think that we think that this woman might be making her sick. And there's all the signs, by the way, the people who do medical abuse, like Gypsy Rose's mom, they use social media. They get attention with sick kids. They use the child to get attention, and they drug them. They drug them through feeding tubes. Feeding tubes, by the way, G tubes, are the most common surgery used in people who are committing medical abuse. That is one of the most common things in all the cases when they look at them, the G tube. If this is not happening, if she really is sick, well, I hope that that's the case, but nobody has investigated this. Nobody has investigated this at all.
Oh, man. Sometimes I feel like I'm at a loss for words for some of this stuff.
She admitted to this source. The source says she told her that she was giving her Benadryl to sleep.
Sleep because she was fussy. And she said, I need to take her home and feed and give her some Benadryl so she can actually be calm throughout the whole day. I was like, Benadryl? Why Benadryl? She goes, well, I mean, not much, but just to keep her calm and so she can actually be quiet and not yell and scream so much. And I told her, you don't give kids Benadryl for this kind of purpose, like you're pretty much drugging her. She goes, oh, no. Doctor told me it's perfectly fine when she's cranky or she behaves, just calm because of it. And that's when I said, listen, let me see the paperwork, show me the people.
Okay, that drug that she mentioned is a drug to break down protein. It would be the right kind of drug to give someone who has this. But what I'm saying to you is, I don't think there's evidence yet to show that she actually has this. And you'll see, because this woman, this source asked her for the proof that she has this metabolic disorder, and you'll see what she says.
Specifically doctors, because either I don't know which doctors you've seen because they're full of shit. I'm sorry for my language, because if it's a metabolic disorder, which you told me it is, she told me it's a propionic. She said propionic acidemia and something else. Anyway, if that's the case, you need to go to different doctors, because it sounds like your doctor doesn't know anything about what they're talking about. They're telling you to give her a different type of medication. And she told me, oh, I'm going to give her this and this. I don't remember the exact name. I mean, the names. But she said, yeah, they told me it is okay to give it to her and it's not going to harm her, but I just have to watch her diet and give her like specific food. She goes, well, just regular food, just milk, but it has to be low fat. And I was like, so you told me she has that disorder and she's 6 months. And they haven't assigned you to a diet specialist, because when my son had it, before we got discharged, and my son was kept for 10 days in the hospital, we got connected to a diet specialist, and we were having a special formula made for him at the hospital. And every week I would have to go and pick it up. Right. To make sure, like it doesn't contain much protein, whatever. So she goes, oh, no. You can have a normal food. I just have to watch very carefully.
Now, here's what's interesting. I believe that after this conversation, Lynette changed her story, and she suddenly started posting on Facebook about the special formula. I don't think she knew about the special formula until this source told her about it. There's posts, and I'm not sure if I put them in this video. I have them because, like I said, I didn't have all the time to put them all together, but I'm going to. I'm working on it. There are posts about the special formula, and I think she did it after she was informed by this source that there is a special formula. Isn't that interesting? She did not have a nutritionist. They did not assign a nutritionist to her. According to this conversation, she didn't have a nutritionist. Now, how could you have this disorder and walk out of the hospital without a nutritionist? It doesn't make sense.
That's what I knew, that, hey, there's something wrong. I'm like, let me see the documentation, because she's been putting out that it's a very big deal. She needs help. She needs this and this. And I said, so you pretty much self-diagnosed her. The doctor told you potentially she could have that. But you don't have the actual diagnosis from a doctor, but you're already posting everywhere on Facebook saying she has a life-threatening condition. She said, well, the doctor told me, so I'm sure it's in the records. I'm said, get those records. Let me see it. And I've been asking and asking and asking. And that's where she got pissed at me and says, listen, you don't have to believe me, but I know what doctors are telling me. And there is a record. I just have to, print it. I was like, print it. Let me see it. So then she comes back at the election site with some sort of papers printed. And I could SPO. It was heavily...
That was supposed to say, and I could spot. It was heavily manipulated. I made a mistake when I was typing. Now, this letter is one that everybody has seen recently. This was a recent, dated April 9th of 2024, so this would not be the paperwork that she was shown. The reason why I put it here is because it is an example of medical paperwork that Lynette puts out there to prove that her daughter has this thing. I have looked at this over the last couple of days, and you know what I think, Tug?
What's that?
I think it's exactly like what Laura Owens did. That's what I think. I think she slapped a logo on the top, and I think she wrote the letter through maybe using ChatGPT. But no doctors talk like this. I highly doubt that this is real. Doctors do not say things like this. While she has been under my care for her condition, HG's adoptive mom, Lynette Preston, has been present at every appointment, followed all metabolic emergency protocols, and recommendations for medical care. The proper medical care mom provides at home includes administering medications, a protein-restricted diet, blah, blah, blah. This is the part. The care HG has received by Lynette has prevented neurological devastation and death, which can happen in patients with a doctor would never say that. That's a liability statement right there. it has prevented neurological devastation and death? I don't believe this. I do not believe this. This is not the way doctors write. It isn't the way. And if CPS had asked for a letter from them, it would not look like this. It just wouldn't. One of the things that also is interesting about this is that up at the top. It says HG has been under my care since 11/6/2019 for her rare metabolic disorder. Where have you heard that phrase before? Rare metabolic disorder. She says it all the time. That's her phrasing. That's Lynette's phrasing. This has the same markings of the fake letters that that Laura Owens wrote. I believe that she wrote about the cancer that she didn't have. If she thinks that this is going to solve the problem, that everyone's just going to believe that, like, yeah, this is real, that nope, no, this is not. There's a lot of problems with this. And like, maybe I'll get into that at a different time because we're going to run out of time. But I'm just putting this here, not because it is the paperwork that the source saw, but because it's the paperwork that we have seen. And she is saying the one she saw was heavily manipulated. Let's go back a little bit so we can hear her full sentence.
I just have to, print it. I was like, print it. Let me see it. So then she comes back at the election site with some sort of papers printed. And I could SPO. It was heavily manipulated and added whatever. I mean, it's not legit, And I told her that. I called her out. I even told Elaine. I was like, Elaine, take a look at it. And I pointed out a few things that, doctor would never write down diagnosis like that. And I said, it doesn't even make sense what they're saying. And she goes, well, I don't know. That's what I got. So either like it or not. And she grabbed it from my hands, and that was it. After that, I became enemy number one for her. I was before Connie, because I would always question. I would question Elaine, begging for money, because I was like, okay, well.
And that didn't mean Elaine was begging for money. She meant I was questioning Elaine about Lynette begging for money.
Yeah, about the money. Yeah.
Well, you need money for medical transportation. She says she doesn't have a car.
All right, here's the car grift. November 17th, 2020. Hello. As most of you know, our transmission went out on our van. It's a 2014, and they used a bad CVT tranny in the Nissan Quest that year. I owe $8,700. It's going to cost around $4,000. We tried to buy a used car. We raised $850. By selling a bunch of our things, we bought the car, and the car ran until he got home. It was rigged to last to get home, and the transmission was gone. We sold it to a junkyard the next day. No, we did not get our money back from sellers. We got a happy face saying tough shit. We got $200 from a junkyard. I found another car, and I have had many texts with the owner. I'm going to see it tomorrow if I can find a ride to Port Charlotte. I'll post all relative pics below. I need to raise $1,500 just for the car. I have enough for a license and insurance. This year has been the worst and best of my life. I know we all are struggling. I didn't know I'd be adopting a baby or paying all this money out for it. Wow, it's been a lot. It's very expensive, but HG is my blessing from God. HG has a life-threatening metabolic disorder called glutaric acidemia type 1. She's a vegan, but no beans allowed, and she is now on fresh fruit and veggies, and she has lots of doctor's visits and blood drawn often. I am also neglecting my medical needs because of all this. I have to have this car. I'm doing this on my own. This is humbling and embarrassing to ask for help. So please, anyone can help us with the amount of anything to go towards this car to make it easier to raise this money. It would be a blessing to me.
She needs to take the child to all these doctors, to General Hospital. So I told her, listen, to me, you are the one who's making this child sick. You are the one who's saying she's got all those problems without doctor diagnosis. You going to a doctor, telling the doctor, she have all those problems. She's acting this way, when in fact, she's a perfectly healthy baby. And I say, you're doing this so you could show, because she had a hearing scheduled, right, for the guardianship. And
all right, back up just a little bit. HG needs your prayers, guys. She's very, very sick. She, of course, went to a mandatory well-child checkup, and she again caught a virus at the doc's office. Her temp has been at 104.6 for hours. I finally got it down. She should have been in the hospital with a 104.6 fever. That's
Well,
if your
especially if you have a
kid
child.
hits 104, it doesn't come to you go to the hospital.
Well, especially if you have a child that is supposedly dealing with issues like that.
Mm-hmm.
The baby. And I say, you're doing this so you could show.
And then here's another one. Here's the formula. Here it is. This was on November 9th, 2019. Baby has now been put on a specific formula that she will drink unless changes have to be made and she cannot have certain foods. So this is all about the formula and about how they need more money.
Because she had a hearing scheduled, right, for the guardianship. And she needs to prove that the child is medically disabled and needs all those doctors. So she's been telling doctors, hey, the child is sick. Or the child has this, has that. We need to do this testing, kind of guiding the doctors. Of course, doctor will do the testing for whatever needs to be done. But so she was getting her records to show to a judge that this baby is sick and needs to stay in her care. And that this baby cannot go anywhere because she's attached. She has attachment to the doctors. Local doctors here, has attachment to your local community. Like all of that. So you purposely making this child sick, creating all this, problems with a child when in fact she's a perfectly healthy child.
And I want to go back and look at some of those screenshots because this really bothered me. Because my daughter has the same thing.
Baby. And I say,
and
you're doing this so
you don't
could
need
show.
surgery for it.
Because she
so
had
there's
a hearing
the
scheduled, right? For the guardianship.
Formula
for commissioner.
here, right there. Oh, shoot. What happened? Go back. There is this picture. Where did it go? Right before this.
The baby. And I say, you're doing this so you could show. Because she had a hearing scheduled, right? For the guardianship. And she needs to...
Right there. So poor HG, we are trying desperately to find an oral surgeon who will fix her tongue tie and her lip tie. Do you see this right here? Do you see the lip tie? It's that piece of skin between the two front teeth. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Any dentist can take their little soldering thing and zip. Right done. But here's the other thing. You don't need to do it. It's not surgery. You don't need a surgeon. The frenulum. Thank you, aka the cat lady. My daughter had the same thing. In fact, she still has it. You know what they told me? They said, well, we could do it, but it would cause her pain. And most of the time, they will just kind of tear on their own, and then it will just fix on its own. So just leave it alone until either it fixes or it bothers her. If it bothers her, we'll just take a little, the little soldering thing. They just take it right off. Like they burn it right off. They burn through it, like kind of clip it. And my daughter's is still attached. This is not an emergency surgery problem at all. And she's out there searching for surgeons. Ridiculous.
Prove that the child is medically disabled and needs all those doctors.
This screenshot is talking about how I'm getting ready to paint the baby's room. Now I have to get ready to do for HG, but she has diarrhea, which is bad. It's so bad she can end up in the hospital. Please pray for her that it goes away. Because a hospital visit, she's always telling people that the hospital is going to kill her. Please pray that it stops and that her butt heals up and this runny, icky poop makes ouchy butts. This is in 2019. Like it's always something.
So she's been telling doctors, hey, the child is sick. Or the child has...
This one says, so our pretty baby HG is doing good despite everything she has been through. Diagnosis is NAS, neonatal abstinence syndrome. And this was in 2019, caused by drugs and withdrawal and the glutaric acidemia, which we know is either a hereditary metabolic disorder or it comes from environmental. So if we find no one else has it, then we can assume it came from the drugs. If somebody in the family has it, then it means the children need to get screened, blah, blah, blah. Thank you to the people who have showed us their love by donating to HG's fundraiser.
This has that. We need to do this testing, kind of guiding the doctors. Of course, doctor will do the testing.
And that one said she can have serious brain damage. This is all just high drama. This mom is, I'm scared to death. I had no idea brain damages can occur. I love this one. HG is so healthy that it's easy to forget she's a very sick baby. How does that make sense?
What does that even mean?
She's so healthy, it's easy to forget she's so sick. What?
For whatever needs to be done. But so she was getting her records to show to a judge that this baby is sick and needs to stay in her care.
Yeah, and that one was about starting tomorrow, she gets less formula. I have to count the protein, and so it's all about the formula. This is not easy, but I would not change it for anything, blah, blah, blah.
And needs to stay in her care. And that this baby cannot go anywhere.
We are closing down this Facebook page because we forgot all the information. We will be starting a new Harley page in the near future. We forgot all the information? What?
Because she's attached. She has attachment to the doctors. Local.
I will be posting soon tonight on here. I hope to start our YouTube channel soon. So she's moving from Facebook to YouTube. December 9, 2020. Telling the court she can't leave. The baby can't be taken from her because she's got all the doctor's appointments, and she's the only one who knows how to handle this this very rare metabolic disorder.
Doctors here has attachment to your local community. Like all of that. So you purposely making...
That was a picture of what she said was a rash from amoxicillin, and oh, it's so terrible. Again, making very normal things look not normal. I'm trying to find it. I think it was right after this.
Attachment to the doctors.
I'll be right back.
Local doctors here has attachment to your local community.
So poor HG got this rash from amoxicillin. The new pediatrician is afraid it's a new pediatrician. That's another red flag. How many pediatricians has she had? Is afraid that it's a syndrome that might give her a fever, which is life-threatening for her. It's always life-threatening.
Community. Like all of that. So you purposely making this child sick. Creating all this, problems with a child when in fact she's a perfectly healthy child.
All right, that was the end of part 1. We are done with part 1. And Tug chose to leave at just the wrong moment because he has the next part that we want to lead into before we go over to Rumble. But just make sure that you have the Rumble link ready to go because we will be moving over to Rumble for the second part of the show. Although this took me longer than I thought. Yeah, it is pretty unbelievable. Let me read a few super chats while we are waiting for Tug. Antiotti gifted 5 Megan Fox memberships. Thank you so much for those. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Fox Den, all of you who got those. Tennessee Susie gifted 1 Megan Fox membership. Welcome to the Fox Den. I hope you like it in here. It's a little weird, but you'll get used to it. Fly on the Wall, member for a month. Megan and Tug, I really like listening to you. Makes me laugh. Well, we're glad to make you laugh. Joan Sclafani, although tonight there hasn't been a whole lot of laughs. Thanks for the 10 breadstick money for all the haters. They really hate it. They really do. Chris W, thanks for the New Zealand 5 breadstick money to make the haters go nuts. They sure do, don't they? Unhung Hero, thanks for the 2 late and 2 fleas. BT4 Dogs became a YouTube member. Welcome to the Fox Den. It's weird here. There's a mac and cheese cult. It's very strange. Green Veggie Beast, thanks for the 10 breadsticks. A plenty for the walruses. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Little B, thanks for the $3 super sticker. Appreciate you. Wender Bender gifted 5 Megan Fox memberships. Very generous of you. Thank you. Welcome. Elsu, thanks for the 2 pedicure fund. Guess what, Elsu? I got some great advice through email after telling my my bloody sock story with the walking and the toe cutting my other toe. Anyway, she told me that I needed bigger shoes. And I'm so glad she did, because I went and bought bigger shoes today, and then I got on the treadmill and I didn't have any problems. So I don't think it wasn't a pedicure. I needed new shoes. Jeffrey Montgomery, thanks for the 2. Celebrating watching you, Megan. Breadstick money. Thank you. Appreciate that. Jesse, thanks for the 2. Love the intro. Do you have Licenette saying Bruce, Bruce, Bruce? Somebody sent it to me in my email. I just have to dig through it and find it, because that's going to be it's going to be difficult because it was a couple days ago, but I will find it. It's in there. One of you sent it to me and I appreciate it. Wender Bender, thanks for the 20. Good evening, Megan, Tug, Mods, and Chat. Haters will be a flopping. That's right. Nimrod, thanks for the 2. Good evenings. Go, Megan, go. Well, I'm getting real tired of this. I'm getting real tired of the denial. I'm getting real tired of people saying that we don't have a right to be upset about the red flags that are being ignored by the authorities that should be taking care of these things. You all right there, Tug?
Yeah. They, the little one, she wanted to lay down. No, she wanted to lay down. She was very tired. She wasn't feeling good the other day, and yesterday and into today, and so she got up. But she's been a little. You notice we haven't had any raids, so
yeah. She's not. She's not feeling good.
She's not raiding. Yeah.
Yeah. She's not feeling good when she's not raiding. That's for sure. Let's see. Hey, Megan and Tug, I'll be watching and not in chat. Here's breadstick money so you don't miss me too much. And the haters get mad. I love making them mad. Me too. It's funny. We have that in common, Teresa. We have that in common. And Anna Nowakowski, thanks for the 10 super sticker. Hey, Tug, why don't you pull up the latest with the fundraiser scandal?
All right. Yeah, actually, I'm collecting a couple of screenshots real fast while I'm doing that. That's what I was doing. See,
cool.
there's this back and forth. Now, it's actually discussed in a thread, but I've got some screenshots that go with this too. Some others. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the thread. Now, there was discussion. This is actually what linked me into it at first. Talking about an interesting day in Guapo's chat. People are talking about the donor officially wanting their money back. I was like, okay. Now there are screenshots that go with this, by the way, because one of the things we need are screenshots. Now I'll show you some of them that are in that thread. But one of the things I was doing while we were talking was getting some of these actual screenshots from this. So check this out here. So the donor themselves, whoops, it's taking me a minute. This is slow. Just give me 1 minute.
It's okay.
It's been a pain in the butt. Well, I didn't want to lock in for some reason on my image. You can see only me, only me was not happy because apparently on another channel, the donor, which again, they're under only me, they had some smack talked about them, which we'll see in a minute there. But you have this back and forth where you have look. I came in here to get my mind off things, 2L saying, I don't know, I didn't know something was wrong or going on. I'm dealing with family health stuff. My email is the same. Nothing has ever been asked for. So noted over again, after that PSD video first, which she agreed with. So it was talking smack about the donor. Again, to be clear, if people haven't kept up with this person donated money and they wanted transparency after some things came up. They donated, yes, a lot of money. I will say it that way. It doesn't matter if you donated a nickel. You still donated money.
If you donated $1, if you donated $5, it doesn't matter. You deserve transparency. If you thought it was going toward one thing, and then you find out that a couple of serial, one guy with a serious criminal history and the other one with a serious grifter history, that they've got access to your money, you have a right to ask about where it went.
So he notes, which you agreed with, please send back donations. Tried to send an email, but it was returned. So then they got the, oh no, there's nothing wrong with my email, nothing at all. So you get back to the, well, I've tried to send an email after that video to get my money back, but there's no reply. My emails, in fact, are being returned with no address. So they're just being bounced back when I'm trying to get there. Now, along with all of this wonderful stuff, you have all this shit being talked about this person. And it's so crazy because you have the donor is now at the point where they're like, yeah, I'm so happy to leave this shit show. You know, I don't need this in my life. I don't need it. And you see other people too, you know, they're talking smack about David. Unfortunately, again, he's been dragged in this because, again, all he asks for is transparency. And what you're getting, the ecosystem's having some real problems here. Like people are like, hey, Guapo, I'm leaving your channel. Love to you, but this isn't what I signed up for. This is your channel, not David's channel. So anybody who talks about transparency, just like anything else, if it comes up, yeah, they get put under there. Now, there's a few other, I don't know how it'll pull these up, so I'm pulling them up. Now, there was one that I did think was rather interesting because, again, it confirms what we do know, but still, you have Marla. Remember Marla? One comment only. There are IRS considerations since Lisa isn't an official charity. Well, that's interesting. Again, we know that, of course, but still, they're running all of these fundraisers, all of these charity things over and over again, but they're not official. They're not licensed in any way. Like I said, you know that.
There isn't even one of them set up where it shows a total of what was raised for the fence and what was raised for the memorial and what was raised for Harley Jolly Christmas. Not one.
Everything.
It's all been just commingled in her private PayPal.
It said, no, her bank account. That's what it says. Everything is going through her bank account or accounts.
Well, I bet the IRS is going to want to know about that.
And by the way, again, if this donor gave through PayPal, which was a statement at first, if this is wrong, again, they can correct this. You know, again, you are welcome to write. You are welcome to write confidentially if you want. You know, I realize that you are not trying to pull yourself into a shit show, but you know what? People have tried to destroy you over this, and they're trying to put anybody in line that agrees. Hey, transparency is the issue. So if you have something that you'd like to discuss with that, you are more than welcome. But if this was made through PayPal, there is a way to do that. But beyond that, you have real concerns about this, as do many other people. Apparently, you know, there have been others that have said, hey, I've got problems with this too. I don't feel right about this. Well, you know, if you're concerned that it's a scam, this can actually be reported, not just to PayPal, but this can be officially reported. And if you have these types of concerns and you're being treated like absolute trash during it, yeah, maybe you should, you know. So there are a bunch of screenshots with this stuff too. I mean, he's asking, like I said, he's asking for his money back. So he's making it clear, you know, he said,
and maybe after he saw this, what we did here tonight, after he saw the other witness come forward from Northport, maybe he'll want to reach out and realize that he's been duped. He's been scammed.
Title it again, you know, donor, whatever you want. And like I said, if you don't want things out there publicly, that's fine. I'm trying to understand this from their side, because you know what, the people that are talking about this, they certainly are saying what your side of it is. They are speaking for you. You are not speaking for you. They are speaking for you. And this person is saying, you know, when I'm questioned, I want the money back so I can give it to good folks. I don't want the money going to you. I want it going to whomever. And it doesn't matter if they want to take it out in the yard and burn it, you know. And they also say things like, give me a minute here.
No, the chat is confused. The chat that David we're talking about is a donor on their channel.
Donor. We're talking about a donor.
That is not
this
MLS.
Is all coming up in the no. This
that
is
a
not, donor.
That's a different
if
David.
You've kept up with this insanity. Okay, just briefly. You had a A donor apparently asked for transparency. A David. So you'll see the name David come up again and again. Not part of the ecosystem or anything else. Well, I mean, they are, but they're not one of the voices. They're not in a plot. When I say the ecosystem, I'm talking about plotters. I'm not talking about people.
The co-conspirators.
Yes. So they are not. This is just some person out there. They asked for transparency after giving. We've seen the total $500, but I don't know if there's more. I have no idea. This person could have given a lot more money for all we know. We've had, Shara's complained about money too, but there have been other complaints as well. So anyway, this person complains about wanting some transparency, or rather, not complain. That's probably the wrong word. They question. That's probably the best word. They question, and they want to know some things. So they aren't given answers right away. So this is how on Guapo's channel, somebody asks, are the two Lees not scammers? And the question Guapo gives, or the answer to that is, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know whatsoever. So that day, you have a live stream fired up about this situation. And from there, this has devolved into attacking this person. Their only crime there was giving money, thinking that they were helping somebody, and then wanting some type of transparency. You've had multiple people in the old ecosystem come out and make statements about how the money shouldn't be given back. I mean, Ray made that clear. I showed those again. I'll compile this and put it all together in one easily digested thing. But you have them. They're like, for the avoidance of doubt, send me back my money. Like, simple. You don't want people asking questions or anything else. But I think it's bigger than that. If you feel like people are avoiding giving you your money, or really giving you the transparency, not even the money thing. The money wasn't the issue. It's become that again because this person feels that they have, and rightly so, they have been attacked. They are being attacked by so many people out there. They are talking a lot of trash about them. I mean, you got stuff like here's the kind of comments you're getting out of this. Oh, grow the F up. I don't give a damn. Kick me off here if you want to. I know Guapo's not going to sell his soul out to you. Oh, he's a good guy. Unlike you. And people are lecturing. The donation is for the little girl. She would never, ever say something like that about you. Oh, well, they did. They talked shit about him. They did. And he wants his money back. Simple. And instead he's having, again, this whole system is coming after him. And there's a whole thread doing on that. And they said, when he's told to write, he said, yeah, I would write, but she blocked my email address.
Well, this is very interesting. He was a big donor. And if they're doing that to big donors, and there's a reason, they don't want them to know what is going on. And so we are going to do super chats now. And then we're going to get over to
I'll
Rumble.
gather all this. Just a note. I will.
Yeah, that'll be better for a whole other show, right?
Yeah. I'll put it all together. We'll go through it. And the way it's going right now, I get the feeling that there's going to be more. It's just become
It's snowballing, man. It's snowballing. It's out of control. I want to get through the super chats and then we have to get to Rumble. I'm not going to get through. I know I'm not going to get through all the stuff I have set up for Rumble, but that's actually okay because I believe we will be back here tomorrow night because that'll be my last night on a live until after until Thursday night with Tug, and then after that I'm gone. So you'll have Tug for the rest of the weekend.
Hey, by the way, too, if you are wondering where Rumble is, there is a link at the top of the chat description, or top of the chat, rather. So you can just click the link and go over.
Yes. And in fact, it's going to work out because I had a few things I wanted to double check anyway. But I do have one document I do want to show you over on Rumble that will kick this off for sure. But let's just get through the super chats because you guys are super generous and I really appreciate you. Thank you, Anna Nowakowski, for the $10 super sticker. And Babs Macier, thanks for the 10. Love you guys. SF, thanks for the 2. Tug, so professional. And Tracy Wilden, thanks for the 5, just to make the haters hate. And Darlene Probus, thanks for the 2. For the love of Jeff. I'm going to start saying that. That's very funny. My Adventures in Homebrewing, Canadian 5. Thank you. Megan, did you ever think that BBB is not listening to you because he likes you? I don't think he likes me, but Tennessee Susie, thanks for the 2. I think it's a super sticker. Janice Wingfield, thanks for the 50 for your trip to Utah. I miss seeing Jeff on YouTube. I hope his family has watched all his content on YouTube. Oh, they have. It'll take them 2 years to do it. Hugs to you, Megan. Have a safe trip to Utah. They're going to be watching Jeff's content for a very long time. It's going to take them a lot longer than a few weeks. Wizzy Wheels, thanks for the 10. Stuck in bed after a fall and pulling a muscle in my back and breaking my wrist. Oh my goodness, Wizzy Wheels. He says, I'm getting old and don't bounce very well now. Thanks for keeping me going. Yeah, we don't bounce anymore. Just one person's opinion. Thanks for the 20. Hey, y'all, I went to my local pet store today to inquire where they keep the panty hamsters. Let's just say I was strongly encouraged to leave the store. I believe I now have my photo up, so the search continues. That's awesome. Patricia Cerny, thanks for the 10. The first full moon of the year is called the Wolf Moon, a sign for Shara to go. Go, go, go. That's right. Keep howling, Shara. Keep going. Marcy Collins, HTD for life. Thanks for the 2. Watching and recovering from a broken tailbone. Wizzy Wheels, thanks for the 5. Here's my chocolate money for the week. I can do without it just for you, Megan. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mary Beth Kern, thanks for the 2. Hey, Megan and Tug, love watching you guys. Well, we love being here with you guys. Jada, thanks for the 5. I'm so confused. Exactly how many children does LMNOP have? Seems about 5 or so have been removed. Some of those are grandchildren and stepchildren. So her stepchild was removed and her grandchildren were removed from her. I don't know if there were any more removed, but I wouldn't be surprised if that came up at a later time. Chris Clemens, thanks for the 2. Megan sent you an email, i.e. Lisa and David. Okay, great. I will check it out. SF, thanks for the 2 for your new beautification fund. For the turkey neck. Pickled Tink, thanks for the 5. Well, I'm back in the hospital. No, that's terrible news. Couldn't stand up. Turns out that I now have COVID. No, that was not what we wanted to hear. You just got out of the hospital. Please get well soon. Tie Sticks, thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate you. SF, thanks for the $2 for the fund. Thank you. Carrie B, thanks for the 99 super sticker. Appreciate that. Little B, thanks for the $3 super sticker. Lady Tammy, this is for Marissa. Marissa, right. Marissa doesn't know what she did. Marissa unleashed a bunch of breadsticks by complaining about breadsticks. Tie Sticks gifted 5 Megan Fox memberships. Welcome to the Fox Den. Those of you who got those, congratulations. It's weird here, but I think you'll fit in. Lee Weyer, thanks for the 10. Here for a real truthful stream and breadsticks. LOL. Well, we always bring receipts. We will never not show you receipts. And a lot of time goes into preparing them. A lot of time goes into verifying them and interviews with people on the ground, etc., because that's what you do when you want to get to the truth. Rachel, thanks for the $2 pound. Breadsticks for the haters. Perfect. The Zohan, thanks for the 2. Love your avatar, by the way. Tell Marissa you're also a mugger tugger. Wanda Perez, thanks for the 5. This is for Marissa, too. That's funny. Blue Amaryllis, thanks for the 5. Thanks a lot, Marissa, by the way. Marissa brought in a whole bunch of breadsticks. Blue Amaryllis, thanks for the 5. For the sack? The shack? This, what does this say? For the sack? I don't get it. For the sack. Maybe I'll figure it out in a minute. Tess Campbell, thanks for the 5. Oops, I hope this doesn't upset Marissa. Victoria Hawk, thanks for the 5. Love you guys. We love you too. Ty Sticks, thanks for the 5. Breadstick and bitterness money. Hilarious. Patty Hoffman, thanks for the 5. More breadsticks for Megan. Appreciate you. DJ Radish, thanks for the 5. Toilet paper fund so you can wipe the the poop dribbling out of haters' mouths. Love you, Megan and Tuggy Wuggy. Oh, this reminds me. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sending me that, by the way, because I almost forgot. All right, guys. This is very important. So some of you know that Uncle Frank, who was a guy who loved our shows, and he was very friendly with a lot of the mods, etc. He did pass away recently. And his caretaker is starting a new YouTube channel and would like to live stream his memorial. But he can't do it until he gets 50 subscribers, at least 50 subscribers. So I'm going to drop, and that would be Yoda. I'm going to drop the I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Uncle Frank Memorial live stream. So why don't you go over there, and it doesn't cost you any money to just subscribe so that the people who want to see his memorial can do that. There you go. It is in the chat right now. Yes. Okay. Rumble. Did that hit Rumble? I'm actually not sure. Let me put it on Rumble too. So this will be a YouTube link over on Rumble for Uncle Frank. And I think that we could get him 50 subscribers. Don't you think, guys? We've got like more than 4,000, 5,000 people here. So I think it's a really honorable thing to do, to want to bring his memorial service to people who loved him online who can't make it. And I think that's a good thing to do. There is also a Give, Send, Go set up for Uncle Frank. I retweeted it on my Twitter. If you want to go and I know Veteran Nation has it on his Twitter. I just don't have the thing on me right now. Mods, if one of the mods want to drop the link to his Give, Send, Go, it's to be used for continuing his tradition of taking children fishing. He would teach children how to fish, and he's a veteran, and it was a good thing to do. So they're going to try and continue doing that. Thank you, DJ Radis, for sending that, because that reminded me that I needed to do that. Melissa Christensen, thanks for the 5. Takes one to know one, Marissa. Keep up the good work, you guys. Ma, thanks for the $2 super sticker. Emma Washington, thanks for the Aussie 10. Here's some breadsticks to piss off the losers. Chris Clements, I think you're pretty for an older lady, Megan. That was the worst compliment I've ever gotten in my whole life. No, I'm just kidding. Mavia, thanks for the 5. Unattractive. I'm gay, and you're still like 4 out of 10 on the okay scale. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
I think I'm offended. Well, maybe not though, because if he's gay, I hope it's a man. If it's a woman, I'm screwed. I should be higher than that on the lesbian scale. Hilda, thanks for the 5. Here, take it. What the Hales said: the most beautiful people have beautiful hearts. Physical looks mean absolutely nothing when you're an ugly person on the inside. Isn't that the truth? Keith Peavyhouse, thanks for the 2. Thank you, Marissa. Blind Squirrel 59, thanks for the 5. Skank Fund, love ya. Swamp Witch, thanks for the 5. I don't always agree with Megan, but anyone who advocates for kids deserves some damn breadsticks. Hear, hear. Lori Waldy, thanks for the Canadian 10. Breadsticks for a beautiful, intelligent journalist who works hard for the money. She works hard for the money. It's true. I do work hard. Do you know how much I was in such a state of anxiety all day today because of the problems I had with losing 4 hours worth of work and then the other work that I still hadn't yet to do? I haven't eaten anything all day. Nothing. Not a breadstick. Nothing.
Gotten to breadsticks, man. What is up with
and I'm starting to I'm starving right now. Liz D, thanks for the Canadian $27.99 for you, Megan. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Misbehaving, thanks for the 11. Flock off, Marissa. Go find some morals. Magnificent warrior, keep up the good fight. Magnificent. I like that. I'm with you, sis. Magnificent. I'm going to use that. Magnificent. I think I'm going to change my name right now. Magnificent. I love it. Magnificent. Keep up the good fight. I'm with you, sis. Former bouncer here. Nice. Where was I? Over here. Susan Way, thanks for the 2. Please share with Marissa. Breadsticks are brain food. No, I'm not sharing it with her. Definitely not. Barbara, thanks for the 2. All this volunteering and she couldn't work. I've had that question myself. She does an awful lot of volunteer work for someone
Yeah,
who
that's actually,
is...
I think, a legit question. You know, lots of statements about
And flea
volunteer.
market
Yep.
selling. But she can't work at Walmart, get a job, not be on disability or whatever, Social Security. Marcia Yarborough, thanks for the 5. Marissa name is close to mine. I don't like it. I think you're an attractive, grifting swear word. LOL with great hair. Thank you. Janice Wingfield, thanks for the 10. Marissa, I'm sending this breadstick money to Megan in your honor. All the best. Where's my button? All the best. Actually, I kind of feel like this one is more appropriate right now. All the best, all the best, all the best, all the very best, all the best, all the best, all the best, all the It's more epic.
Yeah, pick that one.
Vicky Brushwood, thanks for the 10. Appreciate you. Suzanne 71B Callie, thanks for the 10. Money for Scrub Daddy to clean the skank off you. Smelly, slimy skanks are in. Humorless trolls are out. Candace Bingham, thanks for the 5. Marissa really thinks you should not only have breadsticks, but also dipping sauces. Thank you, Marissa. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I love it. Aussie Wombat, member for 3 months. You are beautiful to all of us, but more importantly, you're beautiful on the inside as well. Your Fox Den loves you. Aw, I love you guys too. My little kits. Rozilla's Realm, thanks for the 2. We do love seeing you go off the rails on occasion. It's true. Mark Lane, thanks for the 10. Megan and Tug, sorry, but I don't use other methods. Still wanting to give you some breadstick money. Have a fantastic night and keep smiling. Well, you know we will. Deborah Hudson, thanks for the 5. Breadstick derangement money. Oh my God, it's a syndrome. It's breadstick derangement
That's what I was
syndrome.
thinking, BDS.
They've got BDS. Breadstick derangement
Oh no!
syndrome.
Oh my God! Some of those have BDS.
You like the bootlicker? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Patrick W. thinks of the 5. Don't accept attractiveness opinion of someone who judges their own attractiveness by the colors of loofahs they need to show others. If you know, you know. No. Lindsay Leonard.
No.
Could I not? Could someone make me not know? No. Lindsay Leonard became a YouTube member. Well, welcome, Lindsay. Welcome to the Fox Den. It's weird here. Tug might growl at you at any moment, but you'll get used to it. Valerie Sevier, thanks for the 10. Grifters, tramps, and thieves. We hear it from the people of the town. They'd call us grifters, tramps, and thieves, but every night all the men would come around and lay their money down. Ellie Fan, thanks for the 10. To make haters mad, I dedicate this super chat to Marissa. We're dedicating this whole live stream to Marissa, who is a frugly, unfunny troll. Casey Cole, thanks for the 2. She actually had a POA or anything for her? I don't know. Sounds like it. Ellie Fant, thanks for the 10. Drink your haterade, trolls. Palmer's Archer Homestead, member for 3 months. Megan, please tell Rumble Mods that I'm legit. Starry Win is me. Rumble Mods, Starry Win is legit. What's going on over there? Are you guys banning people over on Rumble? Stop doing that.
Yeah, don't ban people on Rumble.
Don't ban anybody. Because I don't know how to unban them over there. I'm very limited in what I know how to do. Becky Jones, thanks for the 5. I have a turkey neck. Turtlenecks can hide the turkey neck. Yes, I'm a big fan of the turtleneck. Janice Wingfield, thanks for the 10. Lynette on the hunt for a baby so she can collect monthly check for the baby so she doesn't have to work. She surrounded herself with pregnant drug users for a reason. More money for a baby with issues. God, I hate to think that could be true, but it sure looks like it could be. I mean, it's not a crazy theory. It should be investigated. SF, thanks for the 5. Was she actually on rugs, or did LMNOPR tell the cops that so that they would take the baby away from mom and give her to LMNOPR? I don't know. Crystal, that's why it needs to be investigated. Crystal Paranormally, thanks for the 20. Jet fuel for your trip. Safe travels. Thank you so much. Janice Wingfield, thanks for the 10. Phasmacist and mom of preemie. All infants have jaundice to stimulate their bone marrow to start their bone marrow to make red blood cells. But some babies take their jaundice to the extreme. That's an interesting fact. Emmy, thanks for the 20. Coming in late. Down, Marissa. Bad dog. Go fetch the scam. Anyway, here's some breadstick monies. Diana Cook, thanks for the 2. My son in Kawasaki disease at 7 years old. It's rare. Yes. Elephant, thanks for the 10. Lori's just trolling from the hater channels. She does this every time she comes here. Breadstick money? Well, it's okay if she wants to do it again because, it just makes you guys send breadsticks. So I welcome her to continue trolling about it because it's fun to watch her, squirm. Misbehaving, thanks for the 6, multiple countries. And if you think it's not, then you are what's wrong with this world. Lori, flock all the way off.
I want people like Lori to really answer the question of you saw the screenshot from Shara. If you didn't see it, we pulled it up there again. And Bruce, the lawyer involved, the guy you all listen to all the time, confirmed that the screenshots are real. So you were told that this stuff should be ignored because it was fake, and yet it was confirmed as real. So if there are these things coming from LP, again, either are you telling me you don't believe them? Because if she's not believable, then you have another problem. But if they are believable, then don't you think that this merits concern? I would love the description of that. I would love for somebody to rationalize it.
Maybe we should do a call-in show sometime, Tug, and let the trolls call in and have this conversation with us. So we could hear what they have to say about why they don't want to believe those screenshots. That might be kind of interesting. Put them right at the front of the line.
I don't know. I also know, I can only imagine what some of them might scream to try to take your channel down before you can mute them out.
Well, that's true. Well, we could do it on Rumble. They don't care over there.
Oh, it's true. You could do it on Rumble.
We could totally do it on Rumble.
That's
we'll
true.
do it on Rumble because if they say bad stuff, Rumble's not going to take it down.
Rumble's
like, free speech, man. David Meadows, thanks for the 5. Okay, with the SA ARP CM accusations, what if HG is JC's bio daughter due to the above accusations, cover up by adoption? Actually, I actually did look into that, and we know that's not true. Because she wasn't there when she got, so the story Lynette told to the source was not accurate in timing. The mother got to Lynette when she was much further along pregnant. She wasn't there before she was pregnant. So it's definitely not John's. Candace Bingham, thanks for the 2. Now you understand 4 phone calls and 16 emails. Yeah. Wendy Bono, thanks for the 5. Overuse of Benadryl can cause kidney disease. WTF, please pray for this child. Teresa Finn Writer Chick, thanks for the 5. The trolls be trolling. You may be an unattractive and grifting skank, but you're still medium smart and professional. You know who loves you.
So professional.
Candace Bingham, thanks to the 5. The child has 5 biological siblings and 0 have GA1. Normal is 1 in 4 siblings will also have it. Very odd. Now, Candace here, by the way, I know that Candace has her facts straight. I've verified them with her. So this is, if Candace says it, I believe it. Spin Dr. D, thanks for the 5. MD for 32 years. Doctors do not provide letters like this. Thank you, Spin Doctor. Thank you for telling us this, but I already knew that. But yes, I know. DJ Radis, thanks for the 2. R.I.P. Uncle Frank. R.I.P. Chance NP, Jody Chaw, thanks for the 5. Levacarnitine is a dietary supplement, and it's a controversial treatment in fatty acid oxidation disorders. Definitely not a standard of care. Burkett 1950, thanks for the 5. Team Harley, thank you so much for helping Jeremy bring light to this case. I've watched What the Hales for years, and I'm so glad you've all connected. Yeah, I am too. Siggy H, thanks for the 2. That isn't the letterhead USF Health uses. It sure doesn't look like it. Janice Wingfield, thanks for the 10. No hospital is going to discharge a baby with GA1 without setting the baby up with a nutritionist and specialist doctors and setting up her first appointments. A social worker would be assigned to her. Interesting. Dan Davis, thanks for the 2. What a grifter would say for 1,000, Alex. AKA the cat lady became a YouTube member. Welcome to the Fox Den. It's about time. You're super weird. You belonged in here. Dan Davis, thanks for the 5. The drifters were a great group. The grifters take the cake, pie, the whole kit and caboodle. Terry Warner, thanks for the 10. My anger is through the roof. I know.
I have anxiety over the roof.
And Terry Deal, huge 50. Hope this helps. Thank you so much. It does. It helps the channel. It helps me be able to bring you this information and do the work that we do here. Lisa Carper, thanks for the 5. So this fragile kid was well enough to have had her ears pierced. Lip tie pick. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Interesting. Chud 101, thanks for the 5. The picture of her with the Jeep set under it, that she used Harley's SS settlement to buy it. Yes, it did. I didn't stop on that one. We're going to go over that in more detail on another time. Used to be younger, thanks for the 2. Sorry, Megan, with age, feet get bigger. Isn't that weird? I don't know how that works, but I guess it's true.
Fatter or just...
Maybe.
God help me. I hope they don't get longer.
Mine got longer, I guess, because I went up. The woman who told me I needed to get bigger shoes said, you're not going to need them for like regular walking around shoes. Your shoes still fit you. But if you're walking
14, I don't want a bigger shoe.
Well, if you're walking, she said, if you're walking or running like long distances, and I guess 3 miles counts as long distance if I'm doing it every day. She said your feet swell while you're walking. So you need a bigger shoe when you're doing heavy walking or running because your feet will swell. And if you don't have a big enough shoe, then your toes get smushed and then they start cutting each other.
I don't want a size 15 shoe.
They're like, I will cut you, bitch.
Boots. These boats are just terrible. I mean, I'm already going out. Yes, do you have a yacht in this size, please? I'd like to take it out for
a yacht.
On the ocean. Yeah.
Can I have a pair of canoes, please?
Exactly. Can you just hollow out something for me at Home Depot?
George Desco, thanks for the 2, says, Megan or Tug, do you recognize my name? I've seen you here before, but is that name supposed to mean something to me?
I don't know. I wondered that the other day. Like the name, yeah, I recognize the name for some reason, but I don't know why. I don't know. I see a lot of names that pop up. So can you?
You're going to have to be more specific. Do we get a hint? Julie Youngblood, thanks for the $2 super sticker. Appreciate you. Rachel, thanks for the 10. Respect to you both for covering and delivering this terrifying and heartbreaking trail of significantly alarming history. Time for authorities to do their job. OB711, thanks for the 5. You sure you don't want mac and cheese money today? No, I'll take it, I guess. Are we sure? M169, thanks for being a member, says, are we sure LO and LP aren't related? Too many similarities. This just makes me angry. She stole a child. I know.
What?
They do seem very similar. Angie, thanks for the 5 breadsticks and Starbucks with biscotti. I have a feeling you're going to be doing a lot more investigating. Thank you for all you and Tug do to provide facts and proof. Well, receipts are important. Taryn Welsh, thanks for the 5. I received a gifted membership. I'm already weird, so I'm happy to be here. Check your Venmo. We will read Venmos and Cash Apps and stuff after the Rumble stream on Rumble, so I'm saving those for then. We're almost through the Super Chats on YouTube. Terry, American Woman Thrifter, thanks for the 5. Haters are going to show something about a library on you, Megan. Yeah, you mean the book I wrote? I mean, they're going to show about the book I wrote. I wrote a book all about it. You guys can read it. It's over 600 pages. It's called Shut Up, the Bizarre War That One Public Library Waged Against the First Amendment. And it's about a library in Illinois that was allowing men to watch porn and actually pleasure themselves in front of children at a library. And if you think that's okay, I don't want to know you. You don't need to be on my channel. And if they're going to say that was wrong for me to protest that library, or sue them or something, and that was wrong for me to do that and win $50,000 in a settlement because they didn't give me the records under the records law, and they violated FOIA and they violated my free speech rights. Well, let them. There's a whole book about it, and you guys can read it, and you can hear the real story from me. You can get that on Amazon, by the way. Amy Wells, thanks for the 2. Have a nice day, Marissa. Appreciate that. Slug Entertainment, thanks for the 2. To Grandmother Megan. Shut up, Slug. Nancy Wheaton, thanks for the 5 super sticker. Heather Bow, thanks for the Canadian 5. I wonder if she set up mom with her medication to be able to use it to get HG. I don't believe the mom had to steal it. It was left out, I think. Judge Schwartz, thanks for the 2. Here's some breadstick money. Keep being awesome. Well, thank you. Kirby Johnson, member for a month. I made it a month. Let's flocking go. And Jay says, is there a place to support you to your trip to Utah? Yes. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen, Cash Apps and Venmos will directly help me pay for that trip. Because they go directly to like a cash card that I can use. So if you do want to support that trip, if you want to send me some gas money and whatever, we have to drive from Salt Lake City to Logan. You can do it there. Iron Rabbit, thanks for the 5. Mega Tug, the dynamic duo of news. Appreciate you. Liz McFall, thanks for the 5. LP and JC were both upset about being questioned about where they have lived. Trying to cover something up? Maybe. Marilyn Leos, thanks for the 10. For a few breadsticks on your trip to go say goodbye to Sweet Jeff. I don't even want to think about it. I've been crying all week because it's like the countdown. It's just going to make it really real. And I'm not really ready for that. Turd Ferguson, thanks for the 2. From the voice in the Zohan's head. And we've done it. Get ready to rumble. We're going over there now. You guys know the drill. Get to the top of the chat. It's pinned right there. The link to Rumble. Head on over right now. And if you are on the replay, make sure you go into the description and you will see that the link is right there. See you in a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's